guys, how are you? Today we will continue and finish our reading lesson, Encyclopedia Brown. Do you remember where we stopped last time? Yes.
Do you think a visitor might have stolen him?
What do you think? Who stole Fred the tiger salamander? Today we will know that only 3 people could enter the back room in the den of darkness where Fred was being kept. There were Mrs. King, Sam Main, and Dr. O'Donnell. Of course, Mrs. Brown asked Chief Brown, "Did you question them? Did you ask them?" He said yes. The first one is Mrs. King, who volunteered at the aquarium every Monday. The second one is Sam Main, the man in charge of cleaning and maintaining the exhibits, and Dr. O'Donnell, an expert on reptiles and amphibians. The first one, Dr. O'Donnell spent the morning examining a no crocodile from Australia. This means that he didn't steal the tiger salamander. Sam Main was busy cleaning out exhibits and feeding some of the lizards. He was feeding some lizards. And several people saw him working. So it looks like he's telling the truth because many people saw him cleaning. What about Mrs. King? Let's know about Mrs. King. Where was she when the salamander was stolen? Chief Brown frowned, and he said that Sam Main suspects Mrs. King. He thinks that Mrs. King is the thief, is the one who stole Fred the tiger salamander. And when Chief Brown talked to her and questioned her, he found that she loves and she likes salamanders. She is fascinated with salamanders. She told Chief Brown that she has dozens, many of salamanders at home. As pets, she keeps them at home. Like many of us, we keep cats, we keep dogs, or whatever. And Fred was the first tiger salamander she's ever seen. This means that she needs to keep it at home as a pet. Mrs. King does seem odd. She seems strange. She thinks salamanders are sacred creatures with magical powers. And here Encyclopedia spoke up and he said, in ancient times, people used salamanders for medicine. They also believed that they could eat fire and live in flames. There were some stories talking about that in the past. So maybe Fred
wasn't stolen for money, Mrs. Brown said thoughtfully.
And maybe
Mrs. King took Fred just because she thinks he's a special specimen.
That's exactly what I've been thinking. Chief Brown, he said maybe she took it, she stole it because he's special, he's different. But the problem is there was no proof that Mrs. King had the opportunity to steal Fred. There is no proof that she stole it.
But there's no proof that Mrs. King had the opportunity to steal Fred. She was with a group of school children from 10:30 to 11:15.
At the time of the theft, Mrs. King was with a group of school children from 10:30 to 11:15. And after that, she went over to the cafeteria for a coffee break. And one of the cashiers said he saw her there.
After that, she went over to the cafeteria for a coffee break. One of the cashiers said he saw her there.
This means that Mrs. King didn't steal Fred the tiger salamander. Now, Chief Brown said, with frustration, "Now I surrender. I can't find a clue and I can't solve this case. and all of them looked at Encyclopedia, who closed his eyes, and his parents watched him hopefully. They are happy because he closed his eyes, because they know that when he closes his eyes, he will come with his question that will solve the case. And here, Encyclopedia opened his eye and he asked his question.
Has Sam Main been working at the aquarium long, Dad? Actually,
Has Sam Main been working at the aquarium long? Dad said yes. He was hired only 2 weeks ago, not long. So his dad didn't say yes. I'm sorry. He was hired only 2 weeks ago. But he has a lot of experience because Sam told me he's been working or taking care of salamanders and other lizards. He's been taking
other lizards for more than salamanders and other lizards for more than 19 years.
For more than 19 years, he has been taking care of salamanders and other lizards. Here, Encyclopedia told his dad, this person is lying. Sam Main is lying. That was all Encyclopedia needed to hear. Oh no, he hasn't. Encyclopedia declared his with a satisfied smile. If he is a lizard expert, then I'm the Queen of England. Sam Main is lying, and I can prove it. How can Encyclopedia prove that Sam Main is lying and he's the one who stole Fred the tiger salamander?
Encyclopedia knew that Sam Main was lying because he told Chief Brown he'd been taking care of salamanders and other lizards for more than 19 years. Anyone who'd been taking care of salamanders for that long would know that salamanders are not lizards.
Yes. Here, we all know that salamanders are amphibians and they are not lizards. And lizards are reptiles. So here he proved that this man doesn't know the difference between reptiles and amphibians. Salamanders are amphibians, lizards are reptiles. So how can he can work with salamanders and lizards at the same time? They are different. So Sam Main admitted stealing the valuable new tiger salamander that morning, and after he returned Fred to the aquarium, he was fired from his job as a caretaker. Thank you guys, and this is all the lesson, and this is all the story. I think it was so interesting, and see you again in the next story. Goodbye.